Hello and welcome to News from the Streets, a podcast brought to you by S.A.L.V.E International. S.A.L.V.E stands for Support and Love via Education. We believe there should be no street called home, that no child should have to live or work on the streets to survive. We work in Uganda to support street-connected children and their families to have a brighter future. We believe every child has potential. We hope you enjoy this podcast and listening to some of the stories and solutions around homelessness.
Hi everyone, my name is Tabitha, a social worker from S.A.L.V.E International. I want to welcome you today to our podcast, and we'll be discussing one of the sensitive topics within the country, and that is about early child marriage in Uganda. And today with me, I have one of the young girls that has offered to share with us her views and perspectives about early child marriage. So at this juncture, I will welcome her to introduce herself, and then we will share more as we get along with the discussion. So young girl, you're welcome. What is your name?
My name is Shayla. I come from Uganda. I'm below 18 and I'm in Form 1. I'm happy to share my views and experience about early child marriage. Thank you.
Thank you, Shayla, and thank you for offering to share your views and perspectives about early child marriage with us. So I will need to know at this juncture, what do you understand by the term early child marriage, Shayla?
Early child marriage is when a child below the age of 18 gets married or is married off.
Shayla, so if there is a young girl of 18 years and below getting married, do you think is there a much early child marriage within Uganda?
Early child marriage is everywhere within the country.
So if you're saying early child marriage is everywhere, has it ever happened in your community or in your family? And have you ever witnessed this? Has it ever happened anywhere where you've really seen it physical as a child?
This has ever happened in my community, and not only in my community, but also in my clan.
But also in your clan. So if it has ever happened in your clan, meaning you have a very good understanding of why some of these girls go for early child marriage, what do you think are some of the reasons as to why these young girls go for early child marriage? What do you think are some of these things that force these young girls to go for early child marriage?
Lack of school fees, which makes them unable to attain education. Desperate of some parents.
What do you mean by desperate of some parents? I'll need to get to know what really, how does the desperate of the parents force these girls to go for early child marriage?
The desire for them for material gains makes them force their parents to force their children to go in for early child marriage.
Is there any other thing that makes these young girls to go for early child marriage?
Child abuse.
Child abuse. What exactly happens when you talk about child abuse? Because I believe these girls so many times are staying with their parents.
The parents beat their children, deny them their basic needs like food, shelter, and this makes them to go in for early child marriage.
Wow. So, Shayla, what do you remember? Do you remember anything about early child marriage in your area? What exactly happened?
Oh my God, I wouldn't even want to remember such an incident. Because of what I really saw, and because from that one I witnessed from the community and the clan. Girls cried, faced a lot of problems, and they suffered a lot because of that incident.
So you're saying you witnessed one and you don't even want to remember one. But I would need to know what exactly happened at the time when this girl was getting married off. What exactly happened during that time?
It was such a sad experience to me as a young girl because there was no sign of happiness during that function. The girl really cried because she was being forced to go in for that marriage.
Was it just a simple happening, like maybe she cried once in a while, or
No, not at all.
what really happened?
She cried every time.
So if she was crying every time, like during the function, do you think there was any intervention from the community, from the police, and then from the local leaders?
No. No.
Was there any kind of concern and sympathy, maybe from any people around, to report such incidents to save this girl from the tears that she was shedding during the function?
No. Because even the local leaders, police, community members were part of the function.
So do you think it was the girl's wish in this case for her to go for early child marriage?
No, the girl was being forced by her parents.
Oh, so if she was being forced by her parents, do you think there are some challenges you've heard of and that we've not, maybe us as social workers seen, that these young girls have really faced during because of early child marriage? What are some of those challenges that you've heard of?
Some girls have faced domestic violence in early child marriage.
Yes.
By their so-called spouses.
How?
Because those spouses tortured them and they beat them up.
What are some of these other challenges besides domestic violence in their marriages?
Girls have experienced fistula, which means they have constant bleeding.
And wow, that is quite a very sad incident, because I know fistula is not something anyone would wish to have, where you have to bleed for the rest of your life if an intervention is not made. So if you've really seen these girls experience these challenges, fistula, and then maybe domestic violence, what is your say as a young girl? What is your say as a young girl about early child marriage from what you have witnessed happen within your community and in your family?
As a young girl, I would suggest that we should seek guidance and counseling services from our parents and elders.
But I believe you were saying some of these parents are the ones that are forcing the young girls to go for early child marriage. Where more else can we seek or look out for help? Or what more do you have to say as a young girl when it comes to early child marriage?
The government should put strict laws that would guide us as the children of Uganda.
So, do you think there is anything that you need to us to know, or that you think should be done by every citizen, you, me, and everyone in the community, to do to save these girls from the early child marriage?
I would suggest as a young girl for everyone in this country, all citizens, including me, to act as watchdogs for each other and report such incidences when they happen in our communities. And this will definitely help us to probably put an end to these vices.
Is there any other thing that you think can be done, either by the government?
Putting strict laws.
Okay, thank you so much, Shayla, and thank you so much for willingly offering to participate in this podcast and sharing your views about early child marriage. And thanks everyone that is listening to us. We are very grateful, but this is a very sensitive topic, and I believe me and you will work towards putting an end to this vice in our country. Thank you so much. I remain Tabitha, a social worker from S.A.L.V.E International. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, News from the Streets. We really hope that you enjoyed it. If this podcast has inspired you to want to learn more and to get involved in our global community of people who believe, as we do, that there should be no street called home for children living and working on the streets and that they deserve a brighter future, then please check out our website, www.salveinternational.org. We would love to hear from you and for you to get involved.